Thanks for taking the time to view this Rockton software demonstration on the Dynamics GP Toolbox. The Dynamics GP Toolbox includes tools and features that enhance and improve navigation, security, administrative tasks, business processes, and the overall user experience within Microsoft Dynamics GP. It doesn't matter if you are a system administrator or an end user, the Dynamics GP Toolbox has something to make every user work simpler and easier. Let's take a closer look at these tools. Looking first in the GP Toolbox Setup window, you can see a list of the features currently available to enable. These features are broken into 4 groups: security, administration, business process, and the end user experience. We will take a look at many of these features throughout this demonstration. Let's first take a look at a few of the features within the security group of tools. First is our password policy tool. The password policy options strengthens the password security within Microsoft Dynamics GP. It allows for 10 different security checks, including setting the length of time for which a password can be used, minimum password length, forcing changes between old and new passwords, and setting password expirations. These options can be applied to both user passwords as well as the system password. The next tool is Inactivity Timeout and is one of the most popular features of Toolbox. Inactivity Timeout is an additional security measure that can be used to detect user activity. If no activity is detected over a specified period, the system will attempt to automatically log the user out, freeing up the user's license in Microsoft Dynamics GP. Next is the Lockout feature, which allows you to stop users from further attempting to log into Microsoft Dynamics GP if they have already entered 3 failed logins. This further enhances your Dynamics GP security. Now let's take a look at Safe Login. Safe Login prevents users from interacting with Microsoft Dynamics GP until the login process has completed. Without Safe Login, a user can start to open Windows and do things before all of the products in their launch file have been completely initialized. This can result in third-party functionality not being available on some Windows. Notice you can also have the ability to customize and preview the message your users will see while the system is initializing. Now let's move on to the Redirect feature. The Redirect feature allows you to specify another window to open when a user does not have access to the window that Dynamics GP would normally open. For instance, you could have a user redirected to the corresponding inquiry windows when they attempt to zoom on the customer number or vendor ID if they didn't have access to the main card. This is a great way to avoid those "you don't have access to this window" messages from appearing for your users. The last of the security group features in Toolbox is Security Manager. Security Manager is a simple and easy interface for viewing, reporting, and managing Dynamics GP security. This window allows you to set some defaults on how Security Manager will function. But let's take a look at the actual Security Manager interface window to get a better idea of what Security Manager can do. Now notice in our main Security Manager window, to the left of the window shows the security objects, such as roles, tasks, alternate modified forms and reports IDs, and security operations, such as windows, reports, tables, etc., in a tree format for improved navigation. The right side is called the Security Grid and shows a list of all security settings for each user. The Security Manager reflects information found in normal GP as well as advanced security screens, but in a more intuitive and user-friendly format. You can change what is displayed in the Security Manager window by changing the company, filters, or view drop-down options. The asterisk sign denotes security to an alternate window, where a pound sign signifies conflicts with segregation of duties, which would appear if you are using the segregation of duty feature within Auditor. Security is changed by simply clicking in the intersection of a user and a role. You can click on the feature you want to view or change. In Security Settings, you can easily see what security a user has and double-click to change those options. Also, at any time you can export your security list to Excel or press the Print button to print your security report. Now we are moving into our administration tools found within Dynamics Toolbox. First is Version Pro. Version Pro allows easier maintenance and version control over multiple third-party products on multiple workstations on your Microsoft Dynamics GP network. It can ensure workstations have the same products and versions installed, simplifying the management of your software environment. Next is the Log Login tool. The Log Logging tool can be used to track actual logins against your Microsoft Dynamics GP registered user count. This can be useful in determining whether you need to increase or decrease the number of Dynamics GP licenses you currently own. The final feature within the Administration tab of the Toolbox is the System Maintenance Lockout. The System Maintenance Lockout feature allows the system administrator to prevent users from logging into a specified company or all companies. It can also be used to ask users already logged into the system to exit. This feature helps assure all users are out of the system when the system administrator needs to install an update, service pack, create or restore from a backup, or in performing other system maintenance functionality. You also have the ability to customize and preview the message users will see if they attempt to log in during a lockout. Next are the business process tools, in which there are 3. First is the Reason for Hold. The Reason for Hold tool will force the user to enter a reason for placing a customer or vendor on hold. You can choose to enable this functionality for just customers, just vendors, or both. Next is DocSync. The DocSync tool gives you the ability to easily determine which sales document a particular transaction was transferred from, simply by looking at the document number. Notice in my example, I have created masks from quotes and orders to my invoices that will carry through the workflow process. Now I can use the resulting document ID and easily understand its history. The third and final tool within the Business Process tab is the Payment Approval. The Payment Approval tool provides auditing and multi-level approval of payments processed through Dynamics GP. Whenever a payment is created, it can be tracked and routed for approval by up to 3 levels before it can be either posted or printed, depending on how the payment is generated, giving you flexibility and control over your payment process. The final tab is the User Experience tab, which has a number of useful and user-friendly tools. The first tool we'll preview is Mentor. Mentor, which is short for Menu Locator, allows you to enter a name or partial name of any window that you are looking for. Then it returns a list of potential matches that you can choose from. Not only does Mentor show you what the navigation is to a given window, but it also allows you to open that window directly from the results list. For Mentor administrators, you can also grant or revoke security access to that window without needing to know ahead of time which security task or role it's in. Mentor shows you that as well and lets you assign access in a couple quick and easy clicks of your mouse. In this example, I will open Mentor and search for Account. As you see, a listing of all matches to my search now appears, where I can now learn the path I am looking for or launch the path directly from here. The next tool is Inspector. The Inspector tool is designed to give you detailed technical information about the tables and fields in virtually any window in Dynamics GP. This can be extremely helpful when authoring reports or creating smart lists or extender windows. Once you invoke Inspector, the Inspector window opens. From this point on until you close the Inspector window, any field that you move your cursor to will populate the Inspector window with details about that field and that window. As you can see in this example, I've opened the Customer Maintenance window, and you can see the details returned and change as I move through this window. The third tool in the User Experience tab is Pop-ups. Now, pop-ups give you a highly obvious, better controlled, and more impactful way to display window-specific information to your users than the standard window-level notes in Dynamics GP. I created an example pop-up from the Employee Maintenance window in Dynamics GP. Notice with pop-ups, you can create 3 different types of notes. First, there's pop-up notes. These are created and maintained by Pop-up's administrators. Pop-up notes will have a yellow note background with a yellow or red balloon. The red balloon is for high-priority pop-up notes. These are visible to everyone. Second is My Notes. These are created and maintained by any user as well as the Pop-up's administrator. My Notes have a green balloon and a note background. They are visible only to the user who creates them or to whom they are assigned by the Pop-up's administrator. And third is Tips of the Day. These are created and maintained by a Pop-up's administrator. Tips have a blue balloon and note background and are visible to everyone. Now let's move on to widgets. Widgets are a group of very simple tools that require little to no setup but improve the user experience of Dynamics GP. The first is called the Close Confirmation widget. This gives the user a chance to halt an accidental closing of the entire Dynamics GP application. Number 2, the Company in Title Bar widget. This adds the name of the current company to the title bar of the Dynamics GP main window. With the company name in the Windows taskbar, running multiple sessions becomes easier to manage. The third is the Autofill System Password widget. This allows you to only have to enter the system password once per Dynamics GP login session. The first time you attempt to open a window that requires the system password, you will be prompted as usual. If you enter the password correctly, then each subsequent time you attempt to open a window that requires the system password, the password will be filled in for you automatically. The next time you log into Dynamics GP, you will once again only need to enter the system password the first time. The last feature of the User Experience tab is called the Period Open and Close. The Period Open and Close tool lets you open or close fiscal periods in multiple companies at the same time, all in one window. Now I can do so by selecting my company and simply clicking on a period and series intersection, or I can also use the Open and Close buttons to do so en masse. This is truly a great tool that simplifies your period and open-close process. We are now reaching the end of this product overview. Please use the contact information on the screen to request more information on the product or to set up a custom demonstration. Thank you again for taking the time to view this demonstration.